I am here with my good friend and VP of the Georgia Street Rod Association, local car club here in Georgia. And what's going on next week?
Next week is the third annual Collector Car Appreciation Day event that we have, that you were Grand Marshal again this year. Celebrate the day and have a good time.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage. This season kicks off with a legendary 79 Bandit Trans AM getting the full muscle treatment. Then we're reviving a wild wide-body 97 Civic for the Nopi Nationals. Plus, we're teaching the next generation as they build a serious 427 LT2. We're launching this season with pure American muscle, a numbers-matching 1979 Bandit Trans AM. Thanks to Summit Racing, we're packing this classic with an LS swap and performance suspension that'll transform this nostalgic beauty into a street-dominating beast.
Welcome to another season of Sam's Garage. We're going to start this season off with a 1979 Summit Racing Bandit project. And the reason why it's Summit Racing is because everything you see that we got is from Summit Racing.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
This is Mark Morgan. He's from Virginia. He's a fan of the show. He had the 79 Bandit. It's all numbers matching. At some point, it has had a manual conversion done to it. So we took out the 400 small block Pontiac, and we're going to put an LS engine. Now, this engine was built by Bobby Bueller. It has a full Summit Racing rotating forged assembly. Forged crank, rods, pistons, and we went ahead and topped it off with a Summit Racing camshaft kit, which includes the camshaft, springs, retainers, hardened push rods, everything you need to make roughly 550 horsepower out of this 6-liter iron engine.
Yeah, it's a beautiful engine, and it's a great way to start the season off with such an iconic car. Everybody loves Smokey and the Bandit.
This engine, not only does it have a full rotating assembly from Summit Racing, but you can see that the valley pan is also a Summit Racing valley pan. These things are getting harder to find, but Summit Racing has you an aftermarket one. It's a Summit Racing brand, very affordable, and it looks really good underneath that Edelbrock Pro Flow EFI. And the reason why we went with this is because it's very, very compact, runs really nice.
It's really reliable.
But we need to have the original shaker back onto the engine.
That's a must. It looks great, and the best part about Summit Racing is it doesn't matter what kind of project you're doing. It doesn't matter. I mean, we've got all the top name brands, and they're all sold at one place, and shipping is easy. Customer service is fantastic. Makes it one-stop shopping.
It really does. And the Summit Racing stainless steel shorty headers.
Yeah, those headers are nice.
Anytime I can use shorty headers instead of long tubes, I'm going to do it every single time. The Dirty Dingo front runner kit is really nice. Heavy duty billet aluminum brackets.
Yeah, these brackets are really solid. When you feel them, I mean, you're not going to have any movement.
Yep, and you don't want any movement when you have an accessory system this big along with an AC compressor with it. You have to have a big, nasty tensioner that you can see Dirty Dingo supplies.
And then the thermostat.
The thermostat, very important, guys, that when you're doing an engine swap, whether it be a Ford or a GM, LS, whatever, try your best to put a 160-degree thermostat in it. That's going to take care of all your overheating issues. So this is going to look really nice. We're going to go ahead and do the engine. We're going to do a TKX transmission. bell housing also from Summit Racing. We are going to do the front suspension. It already has QA1 coilovers on it, but the upper and lower control arms on the front are original to the car.
Okay.
So it's time, it's 45 years old, to go ahead and replace them. We got nice Summit Racing tubular upper and lower arms for the front, along with this upgraded sway bar kit for the front and the back. On the rear, we're going to go ahead and put 2-inch leaf spring drops on it. And then we went to Ron's Machining Service, and we're going to do the entire rear end. Ron's Machining Service has everything you guys need to be able to rebuild your rear end, and they've got rear ends as well. This is going to be a really nice project. Maybe we can resurrect the Bandit to come pick it up.
That would be really cool.
That would be cool.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NH Oil Undercoating. Don't let the looks fool you. This isn't your typical JDM supercar. We're bringing back this incredible wide-body 97 Civic with a fresh engine and Nopi Nationals aspirations. Come along for every challenge and triumph as we resurrect this import scene masterpiece.
All right, we got something real special in the shop today. You may think it's a Toyota Supra, but it's not. It's just the headlights, right? This is a 97, 98 Honda Civic, one of the most famous Honda Civics from back in the day. This thing was built over 20 years ago by Jeff Geis and Greg Chupp. It needs an engine. It's been sitting for about 15 years needing an engine, and it's time to put one in it because Nopi National, September 13th, 14th, 2025 at Atlanta Motor Speedway is around the corner. So as you can see, it's completely one piece. This was back when we were doing crazy things with import cars, and this car has got custom fiberglass molded panels all throughout one piece. The engine's gonna have to come from the bottom, totally unserviceable, okay? But it looks cool, right?
It does, you know, and it's great that it looks cool now, and it looked even cooler 20 years ago. It was a showstopper. The whole Yellow River Collision crew was out at Nopi, and they always wowed everyone. It was a lot of fun.
That was the East Coast Honda days. We're about to get this thing new life and get it back to the Nopi Nationals. Now, luckily, Greg had already removed the hood and the front bumper, so it can make it easier for me not to scratch anything. And as you can see, I've got it protected as well. First thing I did was I removed the intercooler piping so I can get to the turbo manifold, so I can get it out of my way, because the engine has to come out from the bottom in this case. I did remove the axles. I did remove all the fluids before I did anything, just in case we make a big fat mess. We don't want that. So we took it out the bottom, went ahead and removed the wire harness. It's laying in the vehicle. Luckily, this is an OBD2 car, which means the wire harness goes through the firewall, and it's not like an OBD1 car where it plugs up to each shock tower. All right, so we got the engine and transmission out of the car, and check out the extent these guys went through. They completely deburred the engine, making it smooth, and then polished the whole thing. It was probably best metal polishing back in the day. Now what I'm gonna do is take the new engine, the old new engine, clean it up, paint it, make it look good, transfer all the parts that I can over from here, being the transmission, the intake manifold. The oil pump's gonna have to be transferred also because this is an OBD2 engine, that's an OBD1 engine. So I have to transfer it from this one over to that one. We'll make that one look as pretty as we can and then get it ready to put back in the car. All right, so this thing had popped the head gasket at some point in its life and it wasted or killed a bunch of oil, and we really don't know why, so we got another engine for it, and here we are. Well, the reason why is because on the idle air control valve, you're supposed to have coolant running through it. Unfortunately, when they put it together, there's the coolant on one side, vacuum on the other. The engine was sucking all the coolant out of the cooling system slowly, and then it overheated and popped the head gasket. After looking at the donor engine, we took off the oil pan because I got to swap out the oil pumps from OBD1 to OBD2, and there's milk in it. Sure, I just pressure washed it, but I only got a little bit of water in there. This thing's fully milk. So I took the head off, sure enough, blown head gasket. So I'm gonna take the head off of this one and see which one is gonna be the better candidate. If this one only has a blown head gasket, I'm gonna fix this one because it's pretty, it's the car's engine, it'll go back in the car. So that's where we're at right now. All right, so we got everything transferred over. I went ahead and used the new used engine because he absolutely grenaded the engine that came out of it. Nothing's usable. So we went ahead and put the head gasket onto the old engine. That's ready to go. Transferred over all the pretty parts, painted the block. When we come back from break, we're gonna go ahead and put it in. Hopefully it'll run. Today we're going to be showing you guys how you can prevent rust.
It's a 1968 Corvette, numbers matching big block, 4-speed car. I bought it in October, restored it. Just a great car. I've taken it on the power tour. I drive it, try to put some miles on it, but not too many because of the original motor. And we're here today to try to do a little rust prevention. Well, there's an issue with the frame in that the cross rails and the side rails, I noticed when I was under the car 1,000 times doing the restoration, you can see little pieces of surface rust up inside the frame rails. They have drain holes, but I think moisture still gets up there and creates some surface rust. So I've blown that out to blow as much of the rust out as possible. And then you and I had a conversation about it, and you recommended that we use the
NHOU spray. We're going to use a nozzle. We're going to take this. We're going to spray it all in the cavities of the frame. This is also very good that if you guys got engines sitting around like I do, stored, waiting for a project in the future, the cylinders can get rusty. So take your spark plug out and spray some of this in the cylinders as well, and that'll do a nice coating of oil, unlike something that would maybe coat it for a second, then run off. This will actually stay. And then when you go to crank the engine up, it'll just burn out completely. So you want to do rust prevention? Check out NHOU.
Time to breathe life back into our fiberglass wrapped Civic. Engine installation is the moment of truth, and we're protecting that custom bodywork while working our magic. Smart engineering and determination pushed this Nopi-bound showpiece to the finish line.
Go ahead and come down, Julie. Keep on coming, just keep on coming. Keep on coming. That's right, it's time to put the motor back in. Hopefully it'll go in as easy as it came out. Okay, so as you can tell, the mounting point between the two engines is different for the distributor. The cylinder heads mounting locations are different. And so that's an OBD1 car, meaning 95 and older. This is 96 and newer. So I'm gonna take the guts out of here and put it in this body. That way, the TDC sensor and everything that I need for it to run will work correctly, and the car won't know any different. It's just a couple minutes for me to completely disassemble both of them and swap out the internals. You've seen me do this before on a Honda Accord a couple years ago. If you didn't, now's your chance to see it again. You guys can tell that that one is polished. That took a lot of time doing that. I'm gonna paint it, same color as the engine, and that way it'll make it look new again. These old school Hondas, they take either Honda transmission fluid or 10W30 or 40 conventional oil. All right, so we're gonna put some synthetic Amsoil in here, 2 quarts. I went ahead and took off the speed sensor and pouring it in that way. Well, Greg, we got it done, and we got it done without scratching anything.
Yeah.
It was a real mess. Very hard. But unfortunately, you got 2 obstacles. One, that encapsulated clutch master cylinder is bad. It is 30 years old, 0 resistance whatsoever. And also the fuel pump is bad underneath all that huge stereo system. So I'm gonna make sure I did my job right, just so that it does run, so it can leave the shop, and you're gonna have 2 tasks on your hand, but don't worry, I'll help you out.
Yeah, I think when you ever want to, encapsulate something in fiberglass like that, just make sure that you leave yourself access panels, unless you hate your mechanic.
I think they hate the mechanics. A lot of people do. All right, once you jump in there, I'm gonna grab some brake cleaner. You just turn the key over until I tell you to stop. Go ahead.
Steering wheel's loose.
That's okay. There's a lot of other things loose on this car and a lot more problems, but it looks really good. And it's going to look really good at the Nopi Nationals. It is completed. 2 little things in front of them, and it'll be ready to come on and off the trailer for the rest of its life.
Here's where things get exciting. We're welcoming the future of hot rodding. Students from Hebron Christian Academy join us to build a serious 427 LT2 using Brian Tooley Racing components. Big displacement, massive torque, and hands-on learning at its finest.
All right, check it out, everyone. We got something very special for you. We got the guys from Hebron Christian Academy here in the studio. We're going to teach them how to build a LT2 427 cubic inch engine filled with all the Brian Tooley Racing goodies. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, guys, here we have the pistons, rods, and crankshaft installed. So what controls this is the brain, which is the camshaft. What we're going to do first is we're going to lube it. There's bearings in here. It's going to go in the middle of the engine. This is a camshaft retaining plate. It's going to go on with 4 Torx bolts. Now the camshaft is going to be installed, and the next step we're going to take is going to be the timing set. Tensioner is going to go on first. So then what we're going to do is we're going to take their chain, we're going to put it on the gear, we're going to bring the dot down to 6 o'clock, we're going to come under, go around the timing gear itself. All right, so here we have next is the lifters, right? And they move the push rods up and down, which in turn moves the rocker arm, which opens and closes the valves on the cylinder heads. Anytime you change out the camshaft, you always want to change out the lifters because they go together, they ride and they wear together. So you always want to start fresh if you're going to be doing a new setup. You never want to change the lifters or the camshaft by themselves. So what we have here is one of the 2 cylinder heads, and these are the valves. This is going to sit flat down. This is a Gwatney Performance head. What I have as far as the camshaft and rotating assemblies are Brian Tooley Racing. Both are very big names in the industry, do a lot of good work, and they do it reliably. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this guy, put it straight down. So the 4 studs are going to hold it in place. And Broderick, come over here and tell everyone why you lubed and what you did as far as the lubing of those.
Essentially what we did, we don't want to get correct torque setting. You don't want anything to bind up before it gets to the torque setting, because as important as it is to get the torque setting right, we don't want to warp expensive parts. So he tasked me with doing the lube, so he should get an accurate torque setting on this, and we'll see how this big motor right here comes all together.
A lot of guys don't know how to use torque wrenches, so you'll get yourself in trouble and break hardware if you've never used a torque wrench before. So I tell people, don't use the torque wrench unless you're building an engine and you use it in the right spots. All right, who's my 80? All right, go ahead.
Easy.
One. That's the second stage. Now the third stage is going to be with a 110. Who's going to be my 110s?
I see him back there, right there, the burgundy. He looks like the 110 guy. Come on to the stage.
This is going to be hard. This is where we're going to hold the engine really well. And the further you have your hand further here, leverage is easier. Okay. And what I like to do, you guys, you always want to go back and you take a paint pen. I'm going to go through and we're going to verify the 110. And you always do that. Sometimes you do it 3 times. Then you take your pen and you put a mark on the bolt to tell you tightened it. So one of the biggest problems we have in our industry is replenishing the inventory when it comes to youth. We got to get them back excited in what we do, and that's why we're very grateful that Jim brought the Hebron Christian Academy here for us to show them how to build a 427 LT2 engine. I even had them do some of the torquing on the head studs. Stay tuned as we're going to get more youth in the shop doing cool things like we did today.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. That's a wrap for another action-packed episode. We've transformed a 1979 Bandit Trans Am, resurrected a wide-body Civic, and watched the next generation tackle that LT2 build. Keep those wrenches turning, and we'll see you next week for more high-octane projects.